All right. Hello, everyone. This is FPL Under the Radar. We are here for our Game Week 4 preview video. Today, we are going to talk about our teams mostly and some of the dilemmas that we have, which happen to be also common with the community's dilemmas. This is your host, FPL Kante. I'm here with my buddies and my co host, FPL Wrangler and Zidane's dad. How are you doing, Wrangler?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. How was your Game Week 3?
It was okay. Could have been better if Man City would have got the clean sheet, but you know what happened, right? So otherwise, I
Mhm.
think it was all right. Had a green arrow, definitely from 3.5 million or 7 million to 2 million or so, something like that. Still
Mhm.
over 2 million rank, but again, it's very early stage.
Yeah.
The main loss that I had, I think, is basically Saliba. I mean, didn't have Saliba. I had Gabriel. Now
Mhm.
Saliba owners got points in first 2 game weeks, right? And Gabriel owners, if they held to him in game week 3, they could have got points from bench, like from either Gusto or Udogi, right? But I didn't get any of them. So that's the point. Actually, I'm kind of behind from others, but otherwise, the
Yep.
team looked good, so we'll see.
All right. ZD, how are you doing? How are you feeling about Game Week 3 and the upcoming Game Week?
I almost forgot Game Week 3 as you mentioned. I remembered that made a transfer like Salah and Mbumo. I
Uh-huh.
wish we picked our under that other pick, Sterling. Although not
Yeah.
sad because I did consider less, but seems like both of you had I mean, you were very bullish on him, so probably I wish I could hear I'd be over the moon. But again, I think it was okay transfer because Mbeumo hopefully he will uh, give some
Yeah.
points in the future. So it's okay. Now just ready for the game week 4.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean of course Sterling did very well, but who could have thought that he would score like a 19
Yeah,
pointer out
yeah,
of nothing, right?
yeah,
We have not seen that Sterling for a very, very long time, like that run that he made to score the first goal, right? So yeah, I mean things happen. I mean, of course he was a good pick, and we'll talk about the midfielders. Of course, there's the biggest dilemma for the community this game week. Who is the midfielder that everyone is going for? So we'll talk about it. So let's get into it. So before getting into our main discussion, our we'll start with the under the radar pick this week. We are already discussed the data stuff, reviewing game week the three data and so on earlier this week. We'll keep doing that. We'll try to do that at least if our schedule allows us to do that for the next game weeks too. So that being said, our under the radar pick for this week is a. I mean, of course, a lot of the people are talking about Foden, Madison, Sterling. Some who don't have Mbomo are going for Mbomo. But I think Eze is a great, great pick, right? The only reason that people are not talking about him as much is because he didn't get any returns yet, right? But his XG accumulated is approximately 1.2. His XA accumulated is about zero point 0.6, almost 2 expected goal involvement without any returns yet. And he is on penalties too, right? So, I mean, again, Mbomo got two penalties. If Eze got two penalties, who knows? People would be going after Eze and not Mbomo, right? Things happen funnily sometimes. So, yeah, I think he's a great pick. And of course, probably no one is going to buy him right now, given how many other good options, kind of shiny new toys, as we say, right? We have in the game. But if someone has him, I don't really mind. Like if I had him, I wouldn't mind having him, right? I just know the returns are coming. And if you look at the fixtures, Wolves, Fulham, and not Forest in the next five, great, great fixtures for him, and all home fixtures too. Villa away and Man United away probably are not that great. Even again, Man U away is probably not bad if Varane is not back by then either. So yeah, I mean, I think he could be one of those picks who everyone is kind of ignoring, but he would be the one who could outscore all the other midfielders, right? Who knows? Any thoughts on Eze, ZD or Angler?
yeah, very good pick. I mean, look at his features: three home games, and Palace is very good at home, right? So Wolves, Fulham, Nottingham, all are not that great in defense, especially
Mhm.
Fulham and Nottingham, and obviously Wolves game as well. I mean, they can score, but I mean, as Palace is very good and he's the talisman. I think, yeah, he's a good pick. He's a very good pick.
Yep. Okay. All right. Let's move on. Let's talk about the fixtures first. So this is from Legomane. Looking at the next 6 game weeks, right? And we are also looking at the domestic cup competition in between, and also Europe is starting, right? So the draws were today. Unfortunately, we don't have the teams updated here, their opponents updated here, or maybe the schedule is not even out yet. But the groups were selected today. Man City has a pretty easy group. Uh, Newcastle has a pretty tough group, right? PSG, Dortmund, and AC Milan, if I'm not wrong. United has a okay-ish group, and who is the third one? Arsenal, right? Arsenal's fixtures are also, our group is also not that bad. So I mean that will of course have some implications on how we see assets being rotated, even for Newcastle, right? I mean their squad got bigger this season with respect to last year. Now they have Europe, so even the guys that we expected to play every game like 90 minutes, like Trippier and so on, they may not be as high on X minutes this season, right? So there are implications of that. Arsenal also, right, with them being in UCL after almost 5 6 years, right? So they will of course value it a lot. They would want to get to the second round. So rotation around that, like especially them having more attacking options this time around also, like the likes of Martinelli, etc. Who knows? They may get rotated in the league games, right? And of course, City, as always, right? So with, of course, their squad is a little depleted this year, but they are buying players, right? They already got Doku in, they already got Nunes in. They will probably end up buying another 2 players by end of tomorrow's transfer window. So we never know, right? So with the Man City, the same old thing with the Pep Roulette, how that will play around the Europe fixtures and the domestic cup. The domestic cup is also City versus Newcastle, right? So that's a toughish fixture too. So if either of those teams have endeavor for winning that trophy, they would want to field good teams in that, or good squad in that fixture also. And even though it's a cup game, they probably wouldn't be rotating the whole team and so on, right? So it's a exciting time, especially after the international break. Of course, after game week 4, I mean, it's kind of for us football lovers is like the dreaded international break, right? No one likes it, but it has to happen. So 2 weeks of international break, and then we get back to that busy schedule, right? For example, City will have 7 games in like barely 3 weeks time, essentially, right? With the domestic cup and Europe and so on. And most of the other teams, if you look at the first 7 teams, all of them have Europe, right? City, Arsenal, United, Newcastle, Liverpool, Brighton, and Aston Villa. So yeah, so what do you think, ZD, in general about the fixtures? Which teams are attracting to you for the next few game weeks, and also given that international break in the middle, what is your overall thought about the upcoming fixtures?
Um, to fixture wise, I mean, Man City's fixture is great, but they have Europe games. I mean, lots of fixtures as you said. So, I mean, as we know, Man City players can get some rotation. Will be little bit rotation risk, right? So, that's a concern. Although their group fixture is easy, but I don't think like Pep will go with the easy team like from the beginning, right? Or that it
Mhm.
is easy team or like hard team. He will obviously try to win all the games. All the
Yep.
times he wants to win all the games like everywhere, right?
Yep.
So but yeah, I mean, Man City, but Man City has very good fixture like Fulham, West Ham, Nottingham, and Wolves. These are very good fixtures to target. Again, another fixture is Liverpool, not Liverpool, Chelsea and Tottenham. Tottenham has very good immediate fixture. That's why people are actually going for Madison and Udoji, like Burnley and Sheffield, and they don't have any Europe commitment. So Tottenham is one.
Mhm.
I mean, people are going for their targets, for their assets, right? So I mean, Tottenham, Chelsea, Newcastle's fixture is turning up good, but I think there is a little concern about their Europe fixture is very hard. They have um, I think who they had, um,
Uh,
Dortmund, right?
Dortmund,
Milan
yeah,
AC.
Dortmund, Milan, and PSG. Yeah.
Yeah, so it will be a little difficult group. So they could there could be rotation as well. I mean, all we are eyeing up for Newcastle assets from game week 5, but
Right.
I mean, that will be a difficult one. Like, say, we are going for Trippier, but say there are some rotation. Although I think it will be less, a little less, because obviously they will try to
Mhm.
win. They will try to do good in the league as well, right? But there is little bit concern about it, like how I will idea how I will manage the team. That will be interesting to see as well. And Arsenal, they are already shuffling, so it's little bit concern. Oh,
Right.
yeah.
Okay, all right. So, Wrangler, instead of asking just about the fixtures, let's talk about one of the biggest dilemma for the community and for us as well in general, the midfielders, right? So essentially, people are looking at Foden, Madison, Sterling, and some of us who don't have Mbomo yet, maybe Mbomo, or I mean, maybe not too many people are looking at Diaby, etc., given their fixtures are not that easy. Uh, but let's talk about the midfielders, right? So Man City's fixtures read Fulham, West Ham, Forest, and Wolves in next four. Tottenham's read Burnley, Sheffield, Arsenal, and Liverpool next. But then they have Luton and Fulham. Chelsea's read really, really great, right? Forest, Bournemouth, Villa, Fulham, and Burnley. And Brentford's fixtures look very good for the longer term, right? Other than Newcastle away in game week 5, their fixtures at Bournemouth, Everton, Forest, Man United, and Burnley. So, what do you think? Like, where are your thoughts right now with regards to your team and with those midfielders?
So yeah, let's start with Foden that you mentioned, right? So Man City is playing versus Fulham in game week 4, and Fulham I think considered 3 plus XG in all of their previous games. So I see like in here Man City is gonna probably destroy Fulham like with at least 3 plus goal again, right? And Foden should be involved. I mean, he in the last game he had some issues, right? But I think this game he should be fit. So, but again, from game week 5 to game week 8, as UNZD discussed, the fixture congestion is too much there, right? 7 games, probably 7 to 8 games in 3 to 4 weeks. So that's where my concern about Foden is like, I mean, in any case, there'll be pep roulette, and now there'll be fixture congestion. So do I want to have that, like, always that tension before, like, before the game week that, okay, whether he's going to start? So Foden, regarding Foden, if you already have him, it's a great hold, absolutely, because of I mean, definitely Fulham game is there, but I don't. I mean, I'm not sure if it's a buy now, right? Unless you already have Madison and Starling. I don't know, because that's where I'm gonna actually go next, because I felt the fixture first of all is good for um, they start with Chelsea, right? And they don't have any Europe duties, right? So Starling is a 90 minutes guy, and he might be on penalties too. We don't know. I mean, definitely like Enzo Fernandez is there, who took the previous like penalty. But again, in terms of like nailness and X minutes, I prefer Starling or Madison over Foden, just because they don't have that year of duties, right? So that's where I'm at, and the same thing for Mbumo as well. So that's why I prefer uh, like players from Brentford, Spurs, and Chelsea for next few game weeks, because again, they will not have any rotation as I mean I kind of expect there. So that's where I'm at. So Foden is a whole, not a buy. Um, Madison and Starling. Now that's a debate, a huge dilemma. Um, and Madison, like he was really involved. He was the kind of again talisman for Spurs, right? So I think there is not much difference between Madison and Starling. Starling's fixture is better, definitely, because Spurs is playing Man United. No, sorry, Arsenal and Liverpool. Now Liverpool, I mean, I think it's a great fixture I mean, at home for Spurs. But again, I mean, it's a tough one still, right? So,
Mhm.
but for Chelsea, it's a great fixture. Now, Sterling only showed promise in the Luton game, but again, I think he looked good, right? He looked good, and I think his confidence level should be up there too. So I prefer Sterling a little bit, uh, you know, above than Madison, but it's very close. And then Mbumo, okay, and then um, Foden. Actually, even you know what? If you ask me, I'll probably put Eze over Foden, to be honest, just because he's talisman. I mean, again, he is on penalty. He's gonna be 90-minute guy.
Mhm.
So, but again, Foden is a great hold, but not a buy for me. That's where I'm at right now.
So your ranking is Starling, Madison, Mbeumo, basically top three, right? Right now.
Right.
ZD, what would be your rank of the midfielders if you
For
didn't have
me,
anyone? Yeah.
yeah, for me, Madison first because of the longer term, and as Rangla said, he's a talisman, and they are playing good attacking football. So overall, I feel like Madison is like for me, Madison is the first one. Then I would say probably for me Mbeumo little bit because probably a little bit bias I have him, but I think Brentford's picture is very good, and he's like in everything, right? So he's kind of talisman. He and Visa, those two. I mean, most if you see their fixture, Beaumont, Everton, Nottingham, those are very good fixture. Probably Newcastle is little bit questionable, but other than that, I think if you see long a little bit longer term then Mbumo, but if you see little bit shorter term, then I would say probably Eze or Sterling. So Sterling is not probably in top two for me because I so Chelsea actually did very good versus Luton, but I still need to be convinced about
Hmm.
other team like Nottingham,
Yep.
Bowman. I know they are poor team, but Chelsea are not scoring a lot previously. So as a whole team, as a Chelsea whole team, I think yeah, Sterling gave 19 points, but I would like to see more. And like for me, I already have Jackson, and most of the people have Jackson already. So I in that sense, Sterling is a great asset, but little bit behind than Madison for me, and probably little bit behind of Eze. And as Wrangler said, well, I think Foden is not a buy; he's a hold. He could, I mean, scored a lot of points this weekend, but still I don't
Yep.
think he's a buy because of the fixture congestion, because you might feel like I need to sell him in game week 5, game week 6, and probably go for say Eze or go for Diaby or like say Starling even, because I mean I'm not convinced, but Chelsea might do well in next two games, and then probably I mean there is fixture is in there, but we need for me I think like I need to see more from Chelsea.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, I agree with both of you for the most part of it. The reason that I like Mbomo and Madison over Sterling or the other boys, I mean, of course, Foden is also very involved, and as you guys said, when he plays, when he starts, he's an absolute great asset. Especially a home game against Fulham is like golden, right? Who wouldn't want him for that? But would you want attention after that every week, like whether he's in the team sheet or not? So the reason that I like Mbomo and Madison is because they are on literally everything, right? They have so many different avenues for points. Mbemo is on corners, he's on free kicks, he's on penalty. Madison is on most of the corner duties. He's on free kicks, probably not on penalties. Most likely, Son would take penalties. He would just play a rank essentially, right? But they have just a lot more avenues for points with respect to Sterling, right? And again, we spoke about Sterling, and I'm not saying that he's a bad asset or anything, but we are comparing, right? And we are trying to uh, kind of determine the best asset out of three or four very good assets, right? So with that in that respect, I would say Sterling is slightly behind, and again, he's not going to get those chances like the run that he made past 5 6 defenders in the Luton game for his first goal. That's not going to happen every game, right? He's not even I mentioned that before the game week 3 video, right? Poch needs to play him closer to the goal if he wants him to score more goals, right? But neither of his goals, of course, the second goal was he was closer to the goal, but again, that was kind of space created, and Gusto's ball kind of just happened to find his feet, right? So again, I would be happier if both Sterling's goals were tap-ins, like from 5 yards out. He's closer to the goal. I would know that he will be there. That's repeatable. That's something that can happen over and over again, right? But the goals that he scored, neither of those goals are that repeatable. Again, he is kind of the talisman for Chelsea right now, given the situation that we are in as a team. A lot of young stars. Sterling is the main guy, the experienced guy. Um, but he's not on like even on a lot of the set pieces, etc. Right? So that's the only reason that I would rate Mbomo and Madison over Sterling. Just a lot more avenues for points with respect to Sterling. That's the only reason. Fixtures, if you just go by fixtures, there is almost no debate, right? Sterling wins that. Fixtures look absolutely great for the next 5 game weeks, up to game week 8 at least. So yeah, that's basically my rank. So I would say Mbeumo, Madison, Sterling, and then the others. Okay.
So
All right. So yeah.
one thing, so if it is only for game week 4 punt, Foden is above all, right?
Yeah, I
Just one
would
week punt.
say so. Um, yeah, well, yeah, Foden, and again, I really like Brentford's fixture against Bournemouth as well. Home fixture, that's a golden fixture for Brentford. I see them scoring 3 4 goals in that game. So yeah.
So one thing I mean I want to actually get your opinion. So we talked about Eze, and actually I just see his fixture. Is
Hmm.
very good too. I mean I think he's due. By the way, I
Yeah.
feel
Yep.
Wolves at home, Wolves conceding goals as well. Aston Villa away not good, but again Fulham, right? The Nottingham Forest. So he's the fifth option then, or he's above. I mean to me he's actually above Foden, but
Probably.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
for me, in little longer
okay,
view, is a little bit higher than Foden.
okay. Let's talk about Brighton. We didn't talk about Brighton.
Hmm.
So we have to get these players by selling someone, right? And like
Right.
for me and Kante is probably Mitoma. So
Hmm.
Brighton assets are at least Mitoma, right? He's a sell, right? Because again Newcastle, and then they are playing Bournemouth and Man United. But again,
Yeah.
it's a very congested fixture there too, right? DZRB might play anyone, and they also have Ansu Fati now. So right, so Mitoma is a
I
sell.
don't think I don't think he's a hard sell, to be honest. But I mean, if you could hold him, and I mean, again, we were talking about before we started recording, right? I mean, it's always a scary to watch Mitoma play when you don't have him, right? He's that good. And I mean, Brighton can score 2 3 goals against anyone, even against City, right? They're that good of an attack. So I don't think it's a hard sell, but it's again because we have so many good attacking teams and so many poor defensive teams. They're just better targetable fixtures, right? For Tottenham, Chelsea, and Brentford, and so on. That's the only reason. I mean, you are just trying to use your free transfers, make sure that you gain some value out of those transfers, right? That's the only reason. I mean, if I didn't have to use a transfer, I would happily own Mitoma. I would happily hold him. Not a
Yeah,
hard
I
sell for
mean,
me. It's a difficult decision. It's not an easy decision.
yeah, for me, I mean, I would definitely also hold. I mean, his ownership is pretty high too. That is scary. But again, the fixture congestion, and they are playing actually against Chelsea in the Carabao Cup, and the Bournemouth game is before that. So I don't know.
Mhm.
I see a lot of rotation there, at least for Brighton,
Yeah, I mean,
in that
Mitoma
time. So
hasn't got rotated for a very, very long time, right? I mean, since Deserbi kind of established his ethics and so on the team, Mitoma has played pretty much every game. I mean, of course, this year is different with Europe and everything. We could see more rotation, but who knows? There is still no evidence to say for sure that Mitoma will be rotated. Right? It's speculation. That's all we
right,
can do
right,
right now.
right. Yeah, I mean, not rotated. The word I should say probably X minutes would be slightly lower.
Yeah,
That's the thing. So
impacted.
yeah.
Yep, yep. Okay.
Okay.
What else we need to talk about? Do we need to talk about defenders or goalkeepers at all?
I think another topic could be who you want to sell between Arsenal and Manu
Yeah.
midfielders. Because if we are talking about buying midfielders, but probably you need to get it. Many people have like double, right? So who you want to transfer out? Probably in short, we can talk about that.
Yeah, sure. For me, I think Man United's fixtures in the longer term looks better. Arsenal's fixture, I mean, of course, they have Everton and Bournemouth in game week 5 and 7, but in and around they have United, Tottenham, City, and Chelsea, right? Tougher or toughish fixtures. So I like their fixture again. Man United at home is probably not that bad of a fixture given Varane and Shaw are out. Um, but again, thinking about the longer term, I would probably sell one of the Arsenal mids over a Man United mid. And again, the thing about the Man United mids, I mean, of course, we are talking about Bruno and Rashford specifically. Anytime Man United score, one of them is absolutely involved, like 100%. I mean, there is almost no way that they are not involved in one way or the other, right? They are the two talismans of their team. Arsenal, they have a lot of routes to goals, right? Odegaard can score, Martinelli can score, Trossard can score. They have Havertz playing at number 8. They have Jesus coming in, and Ketia could chip in. Of course, Saka is there, right? They have a lot of sources of goals, not as dependent on one or two players, right? And we saw that last year too, right? They scored a lot of goals, but the points were always distributed, right? If you are jumping from one Arsenal midfielder to other midfielder, you were probably always losing points, right? So that's my argument, that I would rather sell the second Arsenal midfielder. Of course, Saka is kind of a must-own now that we know that he has penalties. That first one was kind of an anomaly. But Odegaard or Martinelli, I would sell easily over Bruno or Rashford, I think. What do you guys think? What do you think, Wrangler? Easily.
Yeah, I don't think I can add anything here. You covered it pretty
Yeah,
well. It's
I
just
mean,
one again. I'm gonna go back. Sorry, just again the fixture thing, right? As you said, Arsenal first of all can go to different routes. There are a lot of players to score, and they also have good depth now, right? I think we'll see also X minutes issue there for. I mean, not for
Absolutely.
Odegaard, but Martinelli. We can see that, right? Because they have lots of options, and again, that's why I would say first of all, they're playing against Man United in game week 4. Uh, Probably it's a good fixture, as you said, right? Varane is and Shaw are out, but again, Lindelof is decent. I mean, he was not bad actually last season. Whenever at
Mhm.
the end, like Varane was out, he showed good as well. But anyways, I think you're right. Arsenal players, probably one of them can go,
yeah.
ZB, what's your
and that is
take?
Martinelli.
No, I just wanted to add like X Holability is better in Man United
Yeah.
midfielders rather than Arsenal. So I think United boys can stay there rather than Arsenal probably. Uh, I think it will be little bit for Odegaard. Probably people get rid of, but I think people has some doubt in mind as it is against Man United for Martinelli, right?
Mhm.
Because this is kind of his fixture game. But
Mhm.
other than that, yeah, I agree.
Okay. Um, okay, let's maybe talk a little bit about defenders. So ZD, you still have Gabriel, right?
Yeah,
So I mean, of course, there is almost no point in holding him anymore, right?
yeah.
Huey started the last game. He still did not. So who is in your mind for his replacements right now?
Um, I mean, here actually, it's a good point. Like as a replacement, one can be Man City voice, another one could be Chelsea or Tottenham or say Villa. But Villa's picture is not that great. I mean, City has, like said, Diaz. So he's like not that explosive, but he will give you stable points. But say if I pick Tottenham, like Udoji, he has like more explosiveness. What we saw, even
Hmm.
I think Brentford's Rico Henry is good as well, and they will save you some like point 0.4 million probably, or like 1 million. Um, I mean, City defenders are good, but for now I am actually looking at like more explosive picks, right? Like say Tottenham. I mean, Cash is doing very good, but it's very hard to take a punt on him with these fixtures like Liverpool, Chelsea, Brighton is his three fixtures out of next four. So that's why I'm looking at basically. Mainly in UDG, I liked Rico Henry as well. I mean, no, both of you guys have, but I think the game, if you the way Tottenham is playing and the way UDG is playing, he's
Hmm.
in my radar actually. Although last week I thought like having Diaz, but uh, I cannot ignore these explosiveness, right? Like as they offer more explosiveness. So in my eyes, that, and about holding Gabriel, the thing is I can hold him probably. Or I can talk about it in my team, but the problem is he will drop more prices during the
Hmm.
although it's not that much important about team value this year, but still I think it's little bit important. Like if I lose lots of value like in one player, so that's one is playing. But yeah, what I was saying, Tottenham defender, Brentford defender is good. Even Crystal Palace is good. They offer value, good value. You can play against Wolves, against Fulham, against Nottingham, and they can be in the bench as well. For So I think Crystal Palace is good, Brentford is good, Tottenham is good, but Chelsea, I mean, I would not go to Gusto right now because I think we missed the hall, right?
Hmm.
If we want to take him, if we would like to take him, that would be like game week 3 rather than game
Correct.
week 4, because game week 5, if James come back, I mean, basically he can still be in the bench, but say Sterling is scoring in every match and you need him, and you are stuck like for Gusto. So I mean, in that sense, I would not go to Gusto. So probably better value and better asset like Palace, Brentford, Spurs, and probably City boys. And um, if somebody is more adventurous, or like somebody want to stay ahead of the curve, they can go to Newcastle as well.
Yeah, I mean, I was very high on Newcastle, right? And I was all set for getting a Newcastle defender in, if not for game week 5, maybe for game week 6 onwards, right? Their fixtures look great and so on. But again, we spoke about the congestion, right? And we just don't know yet. I mean, again, speculation, but we don't know what would happen this year with Europe and everything, whether Trippier would still start every game or not. Botman might be injured. I don't think we have updates regarding that. We may hear tomorrow from Harvey. That also hampers their defensive strength, also, right? So, yeah, I'm not just as big anymore on Newcastle, but we'll see. I mean, we'll have more information after the international break and how it looks like. But yeah, probably wait on Newcastle. Man City, I mean, both of us, Wrangler and I, bought Diaz last week, right? I mean, they lost the clean sheet around what, like 97th minute or something, right? That was, sorry, 87th minute.
87th
That
minute.
was that was frustrating. But I mean, in general, there is no denying that Man
Mhm.
City are still the best defense in the league by far and far, right? The one thing, of course, as you said, like some of the other defenses have explosivity or holability. Man City defenders just don't feel like that, right? Diaz or even Gvardiol or Akanji, they're kind of the safe picks, right? The safe guys. You are not expecting like the 10, 15 pointers from them, right? You're expecting the 6 pointers, 8 pointers from them at most. So yeah, I mean there is that as well. So in the short term, absolutely agree with you. Tottenham, uh, maybe Palace, if you want to rotate them around, are the better options. Villa again, fixtures don't look that great for the next few, and also Cash once Moreno is back, maybe after the international break sometime, Cash may not even be as nailed anymore, right? So there is that as well. So you don't want to probably take that chance. But yeah,
They also have like Europe duty, right? And
Yeah.
yeah, they
even
also have
Cash didn't
European.
start in the last game, so there will be rotation there too. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about one more dilemma. Goalkeepers. Wrangler, you have Pickford. I mean, no goalkeepers still stand out, right? Unfortunately, this year, hard to say one versus the other. Of course, Pickford stands out because he has conceded goals in all of his three games, no clean sheets yet. But are you happy with him at least for the time being? Hold
No,
and
I mean,
see.
how can you how can you be happy, right? But because he considered even I think Everton, yeah, they didn't like the XG considered was not really very high, but they
Mhm.
just considered the goal even one shot or something like that. So
Yeah.
I mean, but again, it is what it is. I mean, none of the goalkeepers really showed anything. So I was lucky, I would say, right? I mean, it's not like, other goalkeepers really had lots of points and I missed out. So
Mhm.
that's not the case. At least it's okay. So I think I'm gonna hold. I mean, there is no luxury here, right, to do the
Right.
transfer goalkeeper until I do the or
Welcome.
play the first wild card. So
Mhm.
I think it's a hold. I mean, it is what it is. If I would have had any like luxury of burning transfer, then I could have thought differently. Maybe Flecken or even like probably downgrade, like saving some money, or even
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't like Ederson, but again, I mean, he's an option too, right? So, but again, here I don't see any luxury here. So just hold here. So, what
Yeah.
about you? What are you thinking about? I think you're a Johnston. Both of you are Johnston owners, right?
I am Johnston or
Yeah.
ZD. Are you a Johnston or yeah?
Yeah.
I think for the time being we're probably okay
Yeah.
because there was some news again. I don't know the source of the news, but there was some news saying that Johnston is still the first choice until he does anything wrong or Henderson makes a case for him being number one. So I think for the time being we're good. Again, same deal until wildcard one. Probably okay. Watch and wait and watch. If he becomes a non-option, of course Turner may become a non-option soon too, right? They just bought a new goalkeeper today from Benfica, so uh, yeah, but again, I'm not planning to play Turner a whole lot anyways. Maybe in game week 5 when Palace has Aston Villa, but if absolutely not, I can still play Johnston in that fixture too. Not that big of a deal. So yeah, I mean, goalkeepers, as you said, it's kind of a luxury transfer with all the other things that are happening, all the other midfielders or attackers that we have that we want to transfer in. Is just wait and watch. Hope that your goalkeeper racks up some points. Just that. All right. Okay.
Just last
Let's.
one point. I
Mhm.
think Liverpool's midfielder like Diaz, Jota. I mean, I know we have more like lots of option, but if somebody wants to play differential, I think Diaz is good pick, right? Um,
Yeah, both Diaz and Jota. I think Jota is still. I mentioned that before. Also, I think Jota is still the top of the picks for me. Um,
because
he
of the experience.
seems to be in form, and then Klopp likes him for the work that he puts in. Darwin, of course, scored 2 goals against Newcastle, but again, I think there is enough evidence to say that Klopp necessarily doesn't want to play him the whole game and so on, right? He's more of an impact sub. That's how I see him. So yeah, and until Liverpool buys a proper number 6, they're not going to play Gakpo up front either. So yeah, I think Jota is probably the peak of the crop, and Diaz is also not bad either. Um, their fixtures again are kind of mixed bag, right? Villa. not the easiest fixture. Then Tottenham and Brighton 7 and 8, Wolves and West Ham in between. So it's kind of a mixed bag, right? So yeah, if you absolutely want to go for one, I would say one of Jota or
Yeah,
Diaz.
it could be a differential pick, like if somebody wants to take some punts. So I think
Absolutely.
they are good punts.
Yeah, no doubt.
So one question I want to ask: if anyone still has Salah, they should sell Salah for other mids.
Yeah.
I
Just
think
not
so.
great
What are you talking
value,
about?
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so he's a sell
12.5
definitely.
million is just too much. Yeah.
Yeah, he just sell from I think so. Like last week we were talking about it because
Hmm.
Madison, Starling, Eze, even Eze, like they are offering great value. I mean, there is no
Yeah.
point of holding him, I think, because it it makes tough to change other positions. Like if you have Salah, it would be very tight. So
Yeah.
that's why I think it
Hmm.
probably it's a sell.
Okay. I think last thing we can probably just briefly cover the forwards. So if you have Watkins, he's a hold, right?
Yeah, we
Because
spoke about it last time also. ZD and I both were
oh, I see.
saying
Okay,
that
Yeah,
hold Watkins. Yeah.
we don't see any point of selling Watkins, although
right.
people
Yeah, and
will
I mean,
sell.
he could have hauled, right? He missed
Yeah.
like couple of chances. If he scored those goals, people would regret selling him for Jackson, etc. Right? So, I mean, I don't see any reason still why people would want to sell him. Fixtures are still look good, right? Villa,
Right.
Will is
Palace,
very good.
Chelsea, Brighton, Wolves, West Ham. In the longer term, Villa's fixtures are very, very, very good. So yeah, I don't see why you would want to sell him,
What about Joao
even
Pedro?
This is
sell.
a sell. Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
lots of attacking
I mean,
options.
yeah, unless he is your eighth attacker, he's a sell.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I
Okay.
think yeah, we covered I guess all the position and all the players. I guess so. Let's go to the team.
Oops. All right. Yeah. Okay. All right. So this is my team. So I'll just read out Johnston in goal, Diaz, Henry, and Chilwell in defense. Midfield reads like Mitoma, Bruno, Rashford, Saka, Odegaard. And forward is line is Jackson and Haaland, captain as of now. Absolutely, Haaland is going to be the captain against Fulham at home. No, no doubt about that. I have not made any transfers yet. The two possible transfers that I'm thinking about, I'm almost set on doing Mitoma to Mbeumo. I would say 100% basically, well, let's say 99% if something happens tomorrow. But yeah, I think I'm pretty set on Mitoma to Mbomo. uh, the other one, the second free transfer, I'm a little doubtful about, and we spoke about it a little bit, right? With the Man United out with Varane and Shaw, it is a good fixture for Arsenal at home. I mean, again, Arsenal haven't been that good yet, other than the Fulham fixtures in Game Week 3 so far this season. But I mean, we know what they can do, right? From last season's history, we know what they can do. But the thing with Odegaard is, if you take that penalty out, he has only put accumulated like zero point 0.6 expected goal involvement over 3 matches, which is very, very low. And I don't think he has penalties, right? I was just lucky to get his penalty points, to be honest. So if he doesn't have penalties, I don't even think that he is that good of a PL asset, especially if Havertz is playing, right? If they do change their structure, if Partey and Rice are both playing, then Odegaard is a very, very good asset, right? He would be playing further up forward. He would basically be playing number 10, not even 8. So in that case, he becomes a very good asset. But in the current structure, he is just not that good of a PL asset, right, altogether. But I'm still doubtful just because Man United's defense this week. If Varane and Shaw were not out, I would absolutely be taking Odegaard out, like no question. But because United's defense look kind of shaky for this week, uh, I'm questioning whether I want to transfer him out at all or just carry roll the second transfer over the international break or not. If I do transfer him out, I think I'm pretty set on getting Madison, and I explained why before also, right? Like why Madison over Starling and so on. I just think that Madison is the better talisman of the team, right? He is just involved. Everything goes through him. He's like the Bruno Fernandes of Tottenham, right? For Manu, no matter what they do, everything goes through Bruno. For Spurs, everything goes to Madison, and at his price, he's a very, very, very good asset. So again, I mean, Madison and Sterling, we can have debate all day long, but right now, right at this moment, I think Madison is slightly better ahead of Sterling. So yeah, if I do take Odegaard out tomorrow, it will be for Madison. So yeah, those are my potential transfers. Any thoughts?
No, I think it's. I mean, you already explained it, and it all makes sense. So yeah, I don't know. Whenever we're gonna go to the same, like, I mean, my team again. I also have two free transfer. So
Mhm.
as we were discussing, right, that um, is it worth it really to hold that another free transfer for the international break, right? If there is any
Okay.
injuries or not, but I really don't feel that we really need to hold that free transfer. I mean, I think
Yeah.
this week probably we can use both of them. And as we are discussing, right, if anything happens to any player, essentially it's gonna
Yeah.
be like for the whole community, because the players that you choose, those are like popular players, right? Those are the players
Yeah.
really are interest, right?
Yeah,
So
I was also thinking like if I don't take Odegaard out this week, how do I justify selling him in game week 5 when he plays Everton, right?
Everton, right?
So
Exactly.
he is going to be there forever then, for longer. And what transfer do I make even with those two free transfer in game week 5, right? So I
But yeah, I
mean
mean,
this
things
game,
happen definitely.
yeah,
Like, in
yeah. I
FPL
mean
things
things can
happen, right?
happen,
So yeah,
yeah.
so
But if you want to get a Madison or Sterling, I think this is the perfect week to do that, right? I mean that's basically my thought process right now. If you go once you go past this week, it just becomes less valuable, that transfer, essentially, right? Moving
I
to
think
a
all
Sterling
of
or
the
Madison.
midfielder that we discussed, I think all of their entry point is this week. That's the
Yeah,
problem.
optimum entry point is
Optimal is,
this
yeah,
week.
entry point
Yeah.
is this week. Actually, all of them. Yeah, Starling maybe because since he has a good fixture run, maybe if you would like to see one more week, right?
Mhm.
But I think otherwise, for Madison, as we discussed, or even Mbumo versus Bournemouth, I think this week is the entry point. So yeah, there is no
Yeah.
point waiting.
Okay, let's move on to your team. Our teams are pretty similar. You want to read it out?
Yeah, it's pretty similar except that goalkeeper position, as we discussed before, I have Pickford, and also I have Martinelli over
Odegaard.
Odegaard, right? So yeah, it's the exact same team. My transfer, as you were saying, that I'm gonna sell Mitoma. That's my thought. Now, I'm I'm gonna get uh, like either Mbumo or Sterling. I'm actually very set on Sterling so far.
Mhm.
So I think Mitoma to Sterling, I can do it. I have point 0.9 million in the bank. Now the next transfer, I think I'm gonna go with Mbumo. If I do if I sell Martinelli, I mean, although it's a good fixture, maybe for Martinelli versus Man United. But
Mhm.
again, as we discussed, right, that Mbumo versus Bournemouth is also as good as, I mean, even probably better fixture. He's on penalties as well, right?
Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna get it. So it's gonna be either Mbumo or Madison. But again, I'm not set on this. Out of these three, I'm gonna get two, and I think I'm gonna sell Mitoma and Martinelli. That's my thought so far. We'll decide tomorrow. So
Okay.
yep. By the
All
way,
right.
we are both of are playing Rico Henry, right? And Estupinian, we didn't discuss about Estupinian, but he's a hold, right? So I mean, he's a
Yeah, I mean he's a hold
yeah,
for now. I mean I'm
right.
okay to hold him for one more week. Let's see after the international break how it goes. But I mean he has shown enough to say that. I mean, would I even want a Newcastle defenders after international break? If not, who would I even buy? Right. So S2 is a hold for now at least. I'm okay to play Henry because again his underlying numbers are pretty good as well. Pretty attacking. So if Brentford scores goal, there could be even attacking involvement from Henry. So I'm happy to play him this game week.
Right. Yeah. Same thought.
Okay. All right, ZD, let's talk about your team.
Yeah, so I have Johnston in goal, Chilwell, Stupinian, Barlock. He's in the XI basically. I will not play him actually. Rashford, Foden, Saka, Mbemo, Chuku, who is injured, Nicole Jackson, Haaland as a captain. I have
Mhm.
Turner as a backup goalie, Saliba, Osula, and Gabriel. So I am going to change Choco to Madison. Um, I'm pretty sad, but little bit I have a second thought. Like I was thinking about taking Son rather than Madison.
Mm,
That's kind of as a punt, but I think it will be wise to take Madison because Son, he's coming. Probably he's showing some sign, but again, it will be a risky pick rather than
yeah.
um, Madison, who is already having so many points. But I just have little bit of thought of having him. But if I take him, I cannot have Trippier in game week 5. So that is another thing probably stopping me, and also kind of risky not having Madison, who will have little bit higher EO, right?
Yeah.
And another move probably Gabriel to Uduji, because I don't want to carry Gabriel like for longer time. That's why probably I was thinking to buy another defender and with -4. So yeah, that's the trade-off. I'm thinking like, should I take the -4 for UDG or just probably set him in the bench and loss of point 0.1, and then eventually I will make a transfer in game week 5, and that will be Gabriel obviously. But
Mhm.
if there is no big concern like any injured when a major player, so that is another thing I'm considering, like getting rid of Gabriel. If I take UDG, then he will play instead of Baldock. Probably Saliba will be in the bench. So what do you guys think?
Yeah. I mean, I don't have to convince you about Mbeumo. You already have him, and I
Yeah.
don't have to convince you about Madison. Already explained why I would like Madison over Sterling. So yeah, absolutely no reason for you to not do that. The -4. I mean, probably yes. I mean, again, if Baldock is all right, I mean, he has an offer from some club also, right, in Europe, elsewhere. So if he leaves, of course, I mean, you don't want to play Saliba this game. But again, game week 5, Saliba has Everton, right, which is a very playable fixture. Game week 7 is Bournemouth, is a playable fixture. So do you really need to take the -4 right away? Probably no. Um, I mean, essentially, Udoji has to at least get a clean sheet to return your hit, right? So, yeah, it's a tricky one. I mean, if you feel like that you just don't want to carry Gabriel, take the hit. But yeah, I think other than that, yeah. What do you think,
Okay.
Wrangler, about that hit?
No, I think yeah. I mean, definitely Madison move is there. I think yeah, he can get Udogi. I think it, there is no harm there. I think
Yeah.
because I don't think any of the defender like I think Saliba is gonna probably concede. Man United, I think is gonna score. So um, it should be okay. Because again, in the international break, Gabriel like price might be dropping more.
Mm-hmm.
Although price is not an issue at least so far, but again, you're gonna play wild card and your team value will play there too, right? So I think it's fine. I think I like this move. Uh,
Yep.
Probably less for so.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you absolutely have to take the hit. I think it's okay. All right, I think that's it.
There was
There
one
are a
question in the chat.
couple of
You want to address
questions.
that? Yeah. I think there is. Yeah,
There are a couple of questions. Get rid of Salah. We already addressed that. Yes, I mean there are just so many
better value
other
there. Yeah, yeah.
better value midfielders. Yes. The other one is a team question, so I don't know how we can answer that. So there is. Let's look at the midfield: Bruno, Saka, Mitoma, Richarlison, Foden. Um, Yeah, it's
So
a
I
tricky one because Richarlison hasn't scored any goals yet, but his fixtures are still good for the next couple of fixtures. Bruno Saka holds. So, I mean, if it's one free transfer, probably sell Mitoma. If you have funds for one of Madison or Sterling or even Mbeumo or one of those three, whatever fits your team better. Pedro is non-playable right now, basically.
so
Uh,
Richarlison is a hold, right? You're saying?
I think so. I mean, again, I
Yeah.
mean, do you want to take him out before the next couple
No,
of fixtures?
probably not.
Probably no.
He actually has
Yeah.
Gabriel, by the way. So, but his defender will be Chilwell.
Yes,
Estupinian,
Chilwell
if
is
he
Tupian
plays, if he
and
yeah,
Tarkowski. Tarkowski
Tarkowski.
has Sheffield, so that's a playable
Which is
fixture.
right.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I
defense is
think
not a concern maybe for
so. Three
this
five
week.
two, right? Yeah, I think yeah. Mitoma to Mbumo, or I don't know how much fund he has, but um,
Yeah,
or
transfer of Salah or
Madison.
Rashford. I would say Salah, not Rashford. Again, same. Just logic is essentially value, right? I mean, even if Salah scores the points in the short term, you'd be stuck with him, and you wouldn't have other better moves to do if you're holding on to him.
Right. Yeah. So I think
All right. Okay.
I agree.
That's
Mhm.
it. Any other questions? I don't see anything. Anything that we did not talk about? Good.
No, I think
ZD,
we
remember?
covered
Okay.
almost everything. I think we thought
All
it's
right.
gonna be a short video, but it didn't. But anyways,
Yeah, I mean, I think there were enough dilemmas to talk about that it took
right.
longer,
So
but we'll see. All right. Okay. Thank you, guys. Good luck for tomorrow. Again, deadline is tomorrow, so don't miss that. The last Friday deadline for some time. So don't forget about that, and good luck with the next game week to everyone. Thank you, everyone, for joining us, whoever was here. We'll see you next week.
thanks,
Bye
guys.
bye.
Bye.
Thank you.